Let's talk some NFL football from this weekend and catch up together per usual. We cron pod it. And Thursday night, Cardinals Saints. Yeah. Cardinals get Hopkins back. They went up big in this game. They have a 25-point second quarter. Hello. And they beat the Saints in a shootout. And when they have Hopkins, they go. There's some crazy stats that for a wide receiver, he goes 10 for 103, first game back. Benjamin had a huge game on the ground. Kyler does enough. His stats aren't flashy, but they put up a 42 spot at home against New Orleans. They're 3-4. Again, New Orleans, Andy Dalton, all the stuff I told you guys, think back to 3 or 4 years ago, Andy Dalton was kind of in punchline territory. He's getting a lot of snaps, and he's thrown 47 times. It's not the formula you want.
Good for him, but
happy for him. Looks good. There was a viral GIF of him from Pick 6.
Some cool images.
Guy dives in the end zone as he gives a frustrated look. That's tough. That's tough when that's your highlight. Let's go into Sunday. And by the way, I do think if we were ranking NFL weekends, which I think maybe that'll be a fun game, I don't think it's a high one. There wasn't too much chaos. I know the team that I saw opening up a lot of football shows was BBD's Giants that were in that early slate because they go to 6-1. They get another one-score victory. They hold up at the end, literally, a throw to the 1-yard line, and they make the play. The Jaguars being favored against them was ridiculous. Not from a skill and home field standpoint, because it's
not like they can't win. But
it's close, but you tell a 5-1 upstart pissy team that nobody believes in that even though you're 5-1, you're playing a 2-4 team, and they're the favorites. No, man. I mean, motivation. It's a funny thing. Maybe it's tied to why those Astros are so pissy and so goddamn good. The Giants go to 6-1. Danny Dimes, another pretty clean sheet, 19 of 30, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 107 yards on the ground. Danny Dimes, 9.7 yards a carry. Saquon gets 110 on the ground. The Giants' rushing attack continues to be basically the best in football. And, man, the guys he is throwing to, Darius Slayton had a nice touchdown catch. Wan'Dale Robinson kind of showed out. He's taking some steps in this game to become, I don't know, I think he could become
a real option.
Like a nice slot, like get the guy the ball in his hands type of guy. But still, I mean, Miriak, Sills, Breida, Bellinger, Richie James. Nice clip of Daniel Jones yelling at Marcus Johnson, catch the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, they're 6-1.
When you get the win, you can just say, I shouldn't have done that, and it's all right.
Hey, you're becoming the boss QB, man. Tell him.
I think this week, I believe the number was 5 drops by the receivers. Like, Jones is doing his job. Like, since the winning streak started, his first few weeks, it didn't look good. But the winning streak, the numbers look all right. And
I think compared to the normal pulse of Daniel Jones people, whatever the average consensus is, I've been a little above that. And I think it's a little bit of Talking Giants propaganda. I've seen Bobby and Justin fight for them. But I do know, obviously, they're fans and they're rooting for the quarterback they've drafted. But they have their pulse pretty close to it. That they've believed in Daniel Jones enough, from some of the deep ball stuff to his athleticism, that I don't know, man. I mean, looking at what he's doing right now with Daboll, and man, I mean, I don't think they have a number 1 or a number 2 receiver. And do they have a number 1 tight end? I know Bellinger had a week last week, but Saquon looks great. They have a plan to run an attack and finish off games, and for now, that is more than enough. They are 6-1. And the Jaguars, what looked like there was going to be some hope and optimism this season, kind of things falling apart. 2-5. It's I don't know. You still have hope in Lawrence, but it's not looking like the year. Falcons Bengals. I told you guys the Falcons play style and how fun it is, but I'm buying more Bengals stock. This week, it's too late to buy Bengals stock. They put up 35 all in the first three quarters, 28 at the half, 28. The Falcons have a big second quarter fight in this game, which, again, that's kind of what they do, but it just wasn't enough, and they're outmatched, and they are, they're a running team that can probably go toe-to-toe with the Giants, but if they go down, especially to the Bengals, and Jamar Chase, he's back to being that dude, 8 for 130. Tyler Boyd, 8 for 155 as well. Burrow threw for 481. And Mariota threw for 124. So it's when the league's gone this far passing wide and pass happy, it's just a tough team to keep up with. And I think the Bengals are going to start to go. They're, like I said, they took preseason off basically. It looks like things are starting to fully click for them. Browns next week, Panthers, Steelers. We could be talking about a 7-3 Bengals team in a couple weeks. Don't be surprised if that happens. Lions, Cowboys. I mean, sheesh, just talk about good juju and bad juju, the play in this game. Lions tight end. Nice little tight end screen. He's running towards the end zone. It wasn't Hawkinson. It was the other one. Is it Kennedy or Wright? Either way, looks like a beautiful play. He's going for the pylon. Looks like he even got it live time. They debated calling the touchdowns. Micah Parsons, I think the best defensive player in football, hunts him down, makes an incredible play to get there. And it was one of those things like, are they going to review it or are the Lions going to take a chance? Instead, they do the speed hurry up to the line to try to pull a fast one. Fumble, turnover. That basically ended the game. And almost every time I've seen a team try to do that, it's backfired. It's almost like the defense knows they might have gotten away with one and they play with house money, where the offense looks like they're playing nervous because they think they might have had a touchdown and now they're rushing to try to get like a makeup touchdown. Just feels like that formula doesn't work. Lions are in the bad place, 1-5. Cowboys, this was Dak's return. It's okay. I mean, they let the Lions hang with them for too long. They won. Dak gets his feet wet. The stat line looks fine. 24-6. The 5-2 Dallas Cowboys. And thank God, you talk about plays that matter a lot more than that. I mean, Parsons in that play kind of saves and changes the game. But if Dak and the Cowboys lost, what do you think every show would be open up with today? I mean, it would be a slaughter. They end up handling their business. Speaking of, the Tennessee Titans are 4-2. They are on a 4-game win streak. And they are running their division yet again. They take down the Colts. They win 19-10. They were my JM pick lock of the week this week because it was -2.5, and I think the Titans are a good team, and quite frankly, the Colts are a bad team. I think the Colts 3-1, if they weren't in the same division as Jacksonville and Houston, I don't think they'd be there. So Tennessee is 4-2. They do have a negative points for, points against, which, football, I'm not sure where that stands. Jacksonville, actually the only team in that division that has a positive. But I like the Titans know who they are. It's Derrick Henry, set up Tannehill to make one or two plays and a play action pass or downfield. Against the Colts, they don't even need it. They play the Texans next week. I expect them to handle their work there. I see Broncos on their schedule. Jags, Texans, Jags again. Titans run that division. Colts are an awful watch. Awful watch. I mean, Matt Ryan looks like he's throwing up prayers almost every time. Speaking of, the Commanders and Taylor Heineke take down Rodgers and the Packers 23-21. The Packers, it's time to stop, and I'm sorry because I feel like I was part of it. They got back to 3-1. Remember they survived that Patriots game? Overtime in Lambeau. I think that was the first Zappy game. And it was like, all right, whoa, Belichick and the boys, they almost stole one at Lambeau, but they're 3-1. Rodgers and LaFleur. The game before that was Buccaneers 14-12 in Tampa. Now knowing what we know about the Bucs and the Packers, they've lost to the Giants and Danny Dimes, who are rolling, the Jets and Zach Wilson, who are rolling, and then the Commanders and Heineke. I mean, sheesh. They have the same record. The Commanders are now 3-4. The Packers are 3-4. Commanders, I'll tell you what, Heineke genuinely is a great watch. My God, talk about electric football, the highs and lows. The Packers, I don't know what to do with you. I was just doing kind of they're good. They're Rodgers. They'll get hot. They're playing Washington. That's out the window. Let me know when the Packers are 7-5 or something like that, and their defense is rolling and they run the ball and Rodgers is going to work. But right now, they're out. They're out the club. Same thing with the Bucs, who that's probably what's opening every show today is about the old men quarterbacks kind of dying. Brady and the Bucs lose to the Panthers 21-3. Ew. PJ Walker. This is their first game without McCaffrey. It's my guy, Deontay Foreman, who I actually love whenever he gets 18 carries. It feels like he rushes for 100 yards. He had 15 and 118 in this game. PJ Walker, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The Bucs had a wide open touchdown to start this game to Mike Evans. Mike Evans bobbled it and couldn't haul it in. And it felt like after that, the Bucs were just staring at each other like, why isn't this easy? Like, this should be easy, and it's not. Brady, no touchdowns. The Bucs, no touchdowns. We heard some whispers before the season that this team might be falling apart, but you don't believe it because of Brady. And now, they have lost back-to-back weeks to the 2-5 Panthers, who fired their coach, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who ain't going to fire their coach, but outside of their coach, they could be the worst team in football. What? Tampa? So, yeah, them and the Packers, the Bucs and the Panthers. I'm ignoring Rodgers and Brady for the next 3-4 weeks. If they reappear on the scene and things look good, cool, and I'll buy into football and it took a while to click, or, they got this guy back, so that mattered. There's a big locker room fight. They're out the club right now. Those teams are ugly. Those teams have just lost to who everyone expected to be the worst teams in football this year. Like consecutive weeks for both teams. So I'm just out. Let's see what else happened in the early slate. I think we're getting towards the later slate now. Seahawks, Chargers. Well, let's do Jets, Broncos. If you're surprised, you ain't been watching. Even my guy Breece Hall gets hurt, and that's sad because he's been disgusting. Before he gets hurt, 4 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Big loss there, and I know Jets Twitter is talking about getting themselves another running back, which is fairly doable in the NFL these days, so we'll see if anything happens there. Danger Russ, didn't even play in this game. Ripien gets the start, which I won't do too much shots fired at a backup, but he's not a guy that inspires too much of the, all right, now we go.
24-46.
The Jets beat the Broncos in Mile High. The Broncos put up 9 points. 9 points. This is their scoring this year: 16, 16, 11, 23 and a loss. 9, 16, and 9. They just cannot compete. Coach, quarterback feel broken. It's incredible that they have 2 wins almost, and at the same time, they should have 5. Early on, and I don't want to I'm not kind of the fandom, I saw it first, because I don't think I think people saw the signs and assumed the smoke would go away. It felt so bad, like halfway into week 2. In game 1, Russ in Seattle, his former team. What? They should have won that game, and they blew it. And they might have blown their next 3 to 4 years. Broncos are screwed, making me question a lot of things. Ravens-Browns. Ravens hold on, and they almost didn't. Again, they had the lead. Justice Hill fumbles, and they give it back to the Browns. The Brissett show is very much the Brissett show. And the Browns still have some high-end talent that's badass. Nick Chubb is awesome to watch. Amari Cooper had one big catch in this game that was fun. Myles Garrett on the defensive side. Browns are 2-5. At this point, they're waiting for Deshaun, and maybe that's even better. If Deshaun came back and the Browns were in the middle of a playoff run, that would be craziness, and people would be all over that. Maybe it's best he comes back and everyone can kind of be mad at it, but it's the Browns and it's under the rug, and maybe they're set up for next year. But that team season is over. Ravens finally hold on to a win. Maybe that gives them the belief that they can hold on to wins, but they also did everything to blow it again. That it's got to be scary there. That at the end of the games, their confidence level is just shot. Texans, Raiders. Raiders blow out the Texans. Raiders might be the best bad team. They're 2-4. Remember, they gave the Chiefs a game. They gave the Titans a game. 1-score losses to Chargers and Cardinals early on. They have Saints, Jaguars, Colts coming up. 3 games. If they could win all 3, they're going to be 4-5 or 5-4 in a little bit, which means you're back in the mix. And then they play my Broncos after. So yeah, they will be at worst case 5-5 come week 10. There's a little Raiders update for you. Maybe a little DraftKings sprinkle on them making the playoffs or something like that. Seahawks, Chargers. I started talking about that. Look at these Seahawks, man. I know we don't want to believe in it because of the names. Geno Smith has been balling. Kenneth Walker III. How's your 23 for 168 and 2 touchdowns? Marquise Goodwin with 2 touchdowns through the air. Austin Eckler had a big day at the office. 12 catches. PPR. Herbert and the Chargers, I don't know. They're kind of broken, right? Remember they played the Broncos last week, that overtime thriller? They could have easily lost that game. They were doing everything they could to lose that game, but luckily they were playing the Broncos. Their wins are their last 3 wins are Broncos, Browns, Texans. I love Herbert. I think he's still hurt. He hasn't looked great. They have the Falcons coming up at Atlanta. You're going cross-country, 1 o'clock start. The Niners, will they be healthier in a couple weeks? And the Chiefs. Sometimes, whether it's ownership or front office or whatever it is, bad luck. The Chargers are the Chargers. When has that story changed? That 115-win Phil Rivers year or whatever it was, outside of that, the Chargers have just been the Chargers. It's it. You want to like it so much more, but you can't. They still have some injuries, but there's the Seahawks. You were hosting them. And maybe we need to treat the Seahawks a little differently than we do, because clearly whatever they had up there was helping Russ. Both those teams are 4-3. Seahawks out of the woodwork. Chiefs roll on the Niners. They have a massive second half. They put up 30 points, and the Niners could not keep up with them. Mahomes, how's his stat line? 423 yards, 3 touchdowns. Pacheco gets the start. A lot of people I respect really like him. Very physical, intense run style. Chiefs end up not running the ball that much at all, but more important in fantasy. Juju with a big game. MVS with a big game. Kelsey always. Niners, I think, Chiefs are really good. Niners still trying to get healthy. Niners, I feel like they have these slow starts, 3-4, and then they find their window. Let me check out their upcoming schedule a little bit just because see if we're buying Niner stock or not. Rams. Well, they're the Rams bugaboo, so that's not an awful matchup. Chargers, Cardinals, And then there's Saint, Dolphins, Bucks. Okay, I don't know. They match up kind of evenly with a lot of those teams. Man, they own the Rams though, so they're probably going to feel pretty good heading in there. And then your finale, Dolphins, Steelers. Tua comes back. 16-10. Kenny Pickett, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions as he's starting to figure it out. The completion percentage was pretty high, but those 3 interceptions, especially the one at the end of the game, that'll do you in. Pittsburgh are 2-5, and they're scraping and clawing with everything they get. It's like a good 2-5 for them. Well, the Dolphins, 4-3, they got Tua back. They're back in the win column. They have Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans coming up. So get your Dolphins stock back on. Holy smokes. Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans. Sheesh. And that's pretty much what happened in the football. We got Bears, Patriots tonight. Patriots are an 8-point favorite. Yikes. And I think that's right, unfortunately. You got anything, Beebs?
Go G-Men.
Go G-Men. Happy New York football. How about
Both teams. Fun.
And comment of the day from last episode to wrap it up. Nate Steele, nothing will ever hit harder than that Wake and Jake theme song on 1.5 speed. Nothing. Love that. Remember where you're from. All right, guys, watch everything on John Boy Media. We did blitzball and disc golf with some pro disc golf guys. Talking Giants, great time to be there. Talking Yanks and Pinstripe Strong, not as much. Talking baseball, we're going to have you covered through the World Series. Rose rotation, any idea?
I forget.
I don't know.
But they're always doing something good.
Let's see. We like Rob Scirocco. Stephen Brault was on Friday.
I also got his football show.
Yeah.
So try that.
Everything on John Boy Media. Some corn maze stuff. What? Go check it out.
Wait, what?
Fake the algorithm. Why not? Why not?